Hey, what's going on? It's Matt Plapp, and I am here with episode 5, even though I recorded 6 last week. We'll get to that in a second, of I Know Matt Plapp, and my guest today is a man of international fame. He's all over the world. He's somewhere different every time I talk to him. It's the talented Mr. Salas, Frank Salas. How are you, my man?
Yo, what's up? I'm from a border town here in Mexico, or in Texas, Mexico right now. So I came down to the border for a wedding, and I'll be spending New Year's here and enjoying the wedding. So I just got back from Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I spent December and November there.
Nice, nice. So you don't want to come up here to where it's like 5 degrees in Cincinnati right now?
Even though I love how you look in a turtleneck, and I think I look pretty good as well, I'm going to go ahead and pass on that one.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I had a client yesterday that I got out of my car, walked into the office, and I hadn't really paid attention how cold it was because I parked my car in my garage. I get up, I go. And I'm like, man, it's cold. Well, we had a promotion we had to launch that day. And I called him like, hey, give me a picture of chili. The marketing today is going to have hot chili in it because they sell chili. And he's like, great idea. And I'm like, dude, I'm freezing. That's why. So the show name, I Know Matt Plapp. I've joked about episode 5 and 6. I was talking to Chris Patterson last week, and what I thought was episode 6, and one of the jokes was, I'm like, dude, I'm going to lose count because I see all my friends that have video blogs and podcasts, and they get up to 100, 200. I'm like, I don't know how they keep count. Well, funny thing was, I thought last week was 6. It was actually 5. So I lost count that quick. So you can tell I'm not a mathematician, but I Know Matt Plapp is all about people that know me. And it's not because you know me, it's because you know people like this guy over here in the other window, Frank. We're going to talk about his expertise and something that really caught my attention recently. The guy's got a lot of companies. He does a lot with digital marketing, a lot with investments and real estate. But what we're going to talk about is what's behind me right here. That I heard on a video last week. You went live with Nick. Nick and Baldeep, I believe, is who I was on the call. And you talked about something that got my attention, R.G.As, revenue generating activities. So what got my attention on this was that I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not a sole proprietor. I've got a staff of a couple. But I find myself a lot of times doing stuff that doesn't make money. And I look back every week and I'll have 4 phone calls and I'll have closed 3 of the 4 deals. And the next week, I look and go, man, I didn't make any phone calls. And I look, man, if I would have made 4 phone calls last week, I had 3 new clients. And I think this happens a lot with any business, whether you're a restaurant owner, an investor, a marketing guy, a car salesman, a personal trainer, like the meeting I was just in with some trainers from my gym I own. Talk to me about RGAs and how you figure out where you need to be on a work relationship to closing deals to running your company.
Yeah. So, bottom line, RGA is the stuff that makes you money. If you're not making money, your business is not growing. If your business is not growing, your business is dying. And the first step before you ever start to think about outsourcing, automation, delegation is to figure out, okay, what do I actually do that makes me money? And it's funny because as entrepreneurs and as, startups and small business owners and, the really scruffy people who want to go out into the marketplace and succeed, we think that we can't win a battle unless we're in the battle. But if you want to have an empire, you're never even on the front lines. You're way back, you're commanding, you're guiding, you got a better position, you got a better viewpoint, and you can guide your lieutenants, your commanders, and you're the general. You say, this is how we're winning this war. This is how we win this battle. And everyone says, I like to lead from the front. Hey, I totally get that. Show up to work every day, put a bunch of stuff in, but you got to realize as a business owner, you grow companies. You don't mop the floors, you don't take out the trash, and you don't do all the other stuff that's in your company. You grow your company. That's your only job. Your job is to put people who are better at what you do, who can actually be there full time. Not like you were saying, you're like, I'm here. Nothing gets done. If you have one person that's only there generating leads, making graphics, making videos, maybe optimizing your Facebook ads, maybe even running your Facebook ads or whatever it is that you're doing for your clients, that frees you up to do what? Be on more sales calls, grow your brand, make videos, shake hands, kiss babies, do the things that actually put money into your bank account. So I'm really excited to talk about RGA, revenue generating activities. I want to tell you my experience with RGA. When I first got, I've been outsourcing for a decade, but I made a switch maybe about 4 years ago to be a realtor. And I thought I was the best realtor on the planet and blah, blah, blah. And there are so many things that I can do that nobody could do. And just like other entrepreneurs, like, no, I don't want to delegate that because it's so personal to me. I'm so comfortable in my mind doing this every single day that if I delegate to somebody else, number one, immediately, let's be real, I lose my sense of value and my worth to my company, to my organization. My self-esteem goes down. I feel bad about that. A lot of entrepreneurs have guilt with delegating things to people. And you shouldn't have guilt for that. You should actually feel great. If you are at a point, or if you're even thinking about delegating things, which you should from day one, if you're even thinking about that, that means you have a successful company or you have a successful mindset, one of the two. And if you are going to grow your company, you need to give those tasks to other people. So I'm excited to just really jump, super deep into this. I've got some screen stuff I want to share with you guys so you can see how I roll, how I operate. But going back to when I was a realtor, I thought that calling people on the phone made me money. I thought that me talking on the phone, like you were saying, if I'm on the phone for four phone calls, I close 90% of those people. I close 3 of those 4. That's great, and maybe that's necessary. And I thought the same thing when I was in real estate. If I called up for sale by owners or expired listings, I would get an appointment to go talk to them and, getting a listing presentation, put my sign in their front yard, and then get buyers leads, sellers leads, all that other stuff in the neighborhood. But then I thought, I was like, you know what? All I'm doing is just pick up the phone and having conversations. Let me make a script. And then the science is I'm making a system. Let me make a script. Let me make a protocol. Let me make a workflow and say, this is what we say. This is how we do it. This is what happens next. Any questions? No. And it's all written down. It's 100% organized. And I'm going to share my screen with you guys here so you guys can see what this is. And this is known as an SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. Now, I have several businesses. One of my businesses is a social media marketing business. And we do social media management for other people. So we actually post up YouTube videos for people. Can you see my screen, by the way, Matt?
Yep, I can see it.
Cool. So this is an SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. Who has standard operating procedures? McDonald's, Starbucks, AT&T, Apple, big money companies. I'm going to say that again. Big money companies have SOPs. If you do not have SOPs, you are not a big money company. You are a dangerously close company, or a company dangerously close to going bankrupt, to you being the one guy. If you go down and you have no SOPs, nobody can run your business. They're like, how do I do this, boss? How do I do that? How do I do that? You have no structure. And this is a crucial part for getting your R.G.A. set up and outsource that stuff. So, this is just what an example of an SOP looks like. Click this, do this, type this, use this, blah, 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 blah. It's basically everybody in business in 2017 on the way to 2018 has redundant crap that they do every single day. And if you literally wrote down what you did every single day and saw the stuff that didn't make you money, that didn't require you to do that, and how much time you actually spend into that, you would be like, wow, this month I spent 80 hours of the entire month doing stuff that doesn't pay me. Now let's multiply that over a year. That's 960 hours, almost 1,000 hours of people just doing nothing. Where they could have hired somebody, outsourced it, delegated, put some structure behind it. And now instead of you as an entrepreneur doing a half-assed job, now you have somebody whose livelihood depends on doing that one job. For example, I have one person in my social media business who only does cold email outreach. They don't answer phones. They don't send proposals. They don't make graphics. They don't make videos. They don't book appointments. They don't handle my calendar. They don't book my travel stuff. They don't do anything except send out 1,000 emails per day. Right now, Matt, in this moment right now, I have somebody going out to people, sending out cold emails right now. If I send out 1,000 cold emails, 30 people reach out and are like, I'm interested. Of those 30 people that are interested, half are qualified. Of those half that are qualified, I would say I'd work with 5 to 7. So those are some real life, realistic numbers. And that's how I grow my agency. I charge those people way more than a normal consultant because I now have an infrastructure. I have to charge enough meat on the bone in order for me to feed my tribe. If there's not enough meat in the bone, I can't feed the tribe. It's not a good fit. Go work with one of the Ty Lopez kids who's charging $250 a month. Go work with those guys. I don't want to work with them. And no disrespect to Ty Lopez. Shout out to Ty Lopez. I really like what he's doing. I just don't like the people who are charging below their worth in our social media marketing industry.
Yeah. Something that hit home but really caused this list was when I saw you and you talked about that. I started looking at my days. And something I started doing a couple months ago is I have three pieces of paper. And it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. And it's got columns, and it's got every hour from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's typically when I work. And I take time off in between there for dinner with the family and go to the gym. You know, I kind of work my own schedule, but I chart out a couple days ahead of time what I'm doing every hour, so that I'm in my mind, I know that when somebody calls me, hey, I don't even answer the phone. If it's 10 to noon on this day and I've got scheduled to do this, I don't do anything else. And so what got my attention was when you said that on there, and you asked Nick, you said, Nick, what'd you do at 9 a.m. this morning? Oh, I had a meeting with this guy. Okay, well, you started asking some qualifying questions. Was that something that you had to be at? Did that make you money? Could that be outsourced? Well, when I started looking at my business, I charted out my business on these giant whiteboards in the office next to me that are about 6 foot tall, 6 foot wide. And I charted out what I do for businesses, how much I charge, how I make money. I charted out how I get the leads for our business, all the different avenues. And then I charted out my company structure and where I want to go. And I started looking at all the stuff on how we get leads. And my hand was in too many pots. And I started going, holy crap, man, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Hunter can do this. Logan can do this. You know, Sam can do this. I've got Ashley can do this. Joey can do this. And I started putting names on everything. And then I took everything they can't do and I put it on this list. You know, they can't shoot the things that make me money. For example, I've got behind me, you know, phone calls. This is my week. I've got 12 things I identified that Matt Plapp can do to make money. And there's some of these things I can train people and have them doing it as well. But this is where my time's best spent. Phone calls, 10 hours a week. I need to be on the phone 10 hours a week with high qualified prospects closing deals, having appointments because that's what I do. I need to be doing emails, webinars, live videos like this. This is a great thing because this puts me out in front of an audience. This gives people the understanding of who I am, and this helps my phone ring. But there's a whole sort of thing. There's 12 items I identified. It goes from 10 hours to 2 to 2 to 3 to 1 to 1. But it's really got me focused. I tell you what, I think back to a couple things I see a lot. So the industries I guess you could call it expert in. I don't ever think everybody's an expert except like Warren Buffett or the Steve Jobs of the world. But I look at my business where I have a lot of knowledge, the restaurant world, golf courses, and the boat and RV business because I've been involved with them. When we had our boat and RV dealership, I was the main man. I was the general manager. I was the part owner of the company with my dad and brother. And about once or twice a week, I would hide out on a forklift. I'd be hosing off the front driveway. And some of these things were stress relief, but a lot of these things were also, I didn't like how other people did it. And so I'm out there doing it. And I look back on that as the 28-year-old Matt driving a forklift, running a $15 million a year boat dealership. And I'm like, wow, I could have been making the company so much more money if I had a $10 an hour person driving that damn forklift versus me.
Right. And so and you brought up a key point. This is something that I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs with my staffing and outsourcing and automation company. They're like, I don't like the way that they do this. And I say, do you have clearly written down instructions with pictures of how you like to be served as an entrepreneur? They're like, it's in my head. It's like, does it do anybody any good for it to be in your head? No. And so I say straight up, one of two things going to happen. Either you have to take time out of your busy day from the million things that you do and write down how you like to be served, or you hire your boy Frank Salas and I do it for you. What's it going to be? Do you want to go through the pain of doing that, or would you rather have the pleasure of bringing on a world-class stud like myself to your squad and getting this done? What's it going to be? Either way, do it or get me to do it. Either way, it needs to be done, and I cannot move forward until we have those standard operating procedures. If your intention is to scale your business and your problem is that you don't think that people can do the job just like you, or you're not happy with the results you're getting. So for example, as a realtor, one of the biggest things that we do is a CMA. This is known as a comparative market analysis. And this used to take me 4 hours to do. So this is the process. Normally I would call up a for sale by owner or an expired listing. I'd say, hey, can I give you market data of how much your house is worth, blah, blah, and can I present it to you at your house? For sure. Then I got that into a script. I outsourced that. I put one person whose only job was to call out calls. So I was calling out 2 hours a day, having success. Then I had 3 people calling out 8 hours a day. they had more success. They just had more bats and they had more success. Then I went out to the listing appointment because I wasn't able to delegate that to anybody else at the time. So I went out there and I started making those deals happen. But before I got out there, I had to come out there with the comparative market analysis and say, hey, this is how much your home is worth in today's market, blah, blah, blah. And I had to do all this kind of research. And then I started delegating to my people. And I was like, no, that's not how you do it. And I started getting so frustrated. And I was like, you know what? Think, Frank, think. You have something here, but there's something missing. What's wrong? I was like, I got it. I don't have instructions. So I said, look, this is how I like to be served. This is for my real estate business. This is a CMA. This will mean nothing to anybody outside of realtors, but to realtors, this is like the holy grail. If you're a realtor, shout out your boy. I'll get your leads coming in real quick. So this is the kind of detail that you need to put out. Like this was in my brain. When I looked at documents, when I looked at this page, this is what I was thinking. And I'm sure you have a million things like that in your business and even in your forklift. When you see a forklift and when you see an RV, you know what to wash, where to wash it, how to dry it, what to look out for, make sure water's out of this place so no mold gets in. And you have all these little protocols that should have been in the standard operating procedure. So I have all this. I explain everything. We go into different systems, blah, blah, blah. Click here, do this, look up this. And then this was the biggest thing. I had this in my brain. This was the magic formula. If you're a realtor, screenshot this right now because this will help your CMAs be a lot more, a lot better. And I thought because I had this formula in my brain that nobody else could do this. But I was like, hey, dummy, why don't you just put what's in your brain onto paper and pay somebody in the Philippines, in Latin America, in Asia, in Eastern Europe, $2 to $6 an hour to do this. So you can go and spend 1 hour of your time closing a $500,000 deal. Why don't you just do that? And so I did it. The first time I did it, it sucked. It blew up in my face, which is normal. And some people, they're like, oh, man, this doesn't work. I'm out. And if I did that, I wouldn't be in the situation or position that I am now. But I said, okay, I liked what worked about this. I didn't like this. Let me fix this by putting protocols, procedures. And then the X factor is training. When you bring on a new person, you train some more. And then when you think about stop training, you train 5 more cycles so you know that they're good. The biggest investment you can make into your business, if you want to be an absentee owner or a version of whatever that looks like for you, the more you invest in your people, the more time you can take off. The more time that I put into my quarterbacks, my running backs, my wide receivers, my linemen, the more I can focus on recruiting people to get a better team. So, this is, this is extremely detailed. This is looking at pocket neighborhoods. We're going into the tax records, doing a bunch of stuff. And at the very end of this, my inbox has this, a comparative market analysis with up to the second market information. There's my Remax logo with my real estate business. And I don't have to do this. This is 2 to 4 hours of my life that I never have to do. And we do about 10 a week. There's 20 to 40 hours a week that I don't have to do. And one person's job is only to do this because we're at such a high volume now in this particular aspect of our business. So I said, this is how I like to be served. If you cannot follow this, you can't be on my team. I'm looking for A players. I don't train B players. I don't train C players, but I always hire for attitude and I never hire for skill. I always hire for attitude first and I train for skill later. Bottom line.
Okay. So when you're looking, when you're advising somebody, or what would be a couple tips you would give a business? Because I see this a lot. And I actually had a friend of mine who's big in the restaurant business. He said, Matt, number one way to know if a McDonald's, for example, is not running well is if you walk in and you see the manager on the line at the register. Emergency makes sense. But if they're constantly flipping fries and burgers and putting money in the register, they're not leading the team. And I see this a lot with the golf business. I can't tell you how many golf courses I have went to talk to the owners. And they're like, oh, he's got to be in a minute, Matt. He's out on the greens right now mowing the greens. And I see him. He pulls up and he's driving this thing. He's mowing the greens. And I'm like, wow, you own a pretty big golf course and you're stuck mowing the greens. A lot of times we as business owners think, it costs more to have somebody else do it, or we don't value our time enough and we're not doing R.G.A. So what are a couple best practices you would recommend that a guy like myself or a guy that owns a golf course or a restaurant or a RV and boat dealership, what can they do to evaluate how much time they are wasting? And then on the other part of that, figure out what they're best suited doing and what they're best suited outsourcing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So first and foremost, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. So I have a bunch of different courses on a bunch of different subjects. This is directly from my Virtual Assistant Academy. If you want to learn everything that I know, I've already put it onto a system. It's right there. You can take it. It's $5,000. It's worth $1 million. It's literally worth $1 million. So it brings you over here. There's a free preview. I strongly recommend for you guys to check that out. But if you come down here to identify and focus on your R.G.A, is absolutely free. There's no cost. You can go there right now. We'll get the link to you through Matt. There's me in the Philippines recording.
Hey, welcome back to the Virtual Assistant Academy.
And this is a time journal document. So let me document this real quick. So let me open this up. So this is a free worksheet that I have for you available. If you're a business owner, student, anybody that's making money and that wants to make more money, anybody who wants to make more money and work less, they need to download this, period. I don't care what you do. If you have a job right now, you can outsource stuff to other people. So for example, you want to go ahead and check this 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, evening. In the morning, let's talk about you. What'd you do today, Matt?
Today,
in the morning.
It's funny. So 8 to 9 a.m. I spent putting together the team's to-do list, that what they need to do so I don't have to do it.
Did that make you money?
Yes, because they're carrying out product. They're running things that companies are paying us to do. Yes.
What they did made money. What you did that make you money?
I guess yes, because if they didn't have those directions, they can't do that. I don't know. So I mean, no, it didn't make me money directly, but indirectly, yes.
So I'm gonna lower you up right now. The
okay.
answer to the question is that no. So yes, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you that what they did because your direction made you money. What I would say from there is if you're spending an hour to guide them, why not invest some time into a daily checklist, a weekly checklist, a monthly checklist? This will save you some of these kinds of things. Maybe instead of being from 8 to 9, it could have been from 8 to 8:15. It could have been from 8 to 8:30. It could have been from 8 to 8:20. Who knows?
Yep.
But bottom line, you delegating stuff didn't directly make you money. The act of delegating didn't make you money. Those delegated acts may have made you money, but that didn't make you money. Did that require your personal touch? Yes. At this moment in your organization, maybe because you don't have a manager, if you don't have a structure or project manager, maybe even an account executive, or if you don't have the structure in your business to give the people that you're working with rules, that at this moment in time, yes, that requires. So this is something you still have to do. What did you do after that?
After that, I had a phone call with a client going over their program and their results for what we do for them.
Okay. And that was how long?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Did that task make you money?
Yes, it helped retain a client.
You being on the phone call put dollar bills into your bank account?
Yes.
So after you got off the phone call, they sent you money?
They're a continued client. Yes. If I wouldn't have had the phone call and went over how great the program was, they wouldn't have known, do we do this? Now that's something that can be shopped out to the person as I grow my sales staff, the guys that land that account, that'll be them. Right now, I'm the person who deals with that account, so it's kind of falls under my task. It made money in the fact that it retains a client.
Right. So I would say that actual act did not make you money. You didn't bring any new revenue into your business. So I'm going to lower you up again and say, no, that task didn't make you money. Did that require your personal touch? Yes, because where you're at right now, you don't have the staff. In the future, this is an opportunity for you to delegate this to an account executive or an account manager whose job is to give way better service than you are. They probably might look better than you do as well, even though you look fabulous in the turtleneck. We could find somebody with a little bit, that's uppity, that's like, hey, how's it going? That really makes the customer feel good. So they feel great working with the owner, and that's always a great thing. But if you have somebody who comes from like a service industry or somebody who gives great hospitality, who's just, got a nice presence, who's just over the top in customer service, that customer will actually probably give you more money because that person that you delegate to is better at an account executive job than you are. Probably.
I can say that.
So that's a future for you to do something else. Okay, so moving forward, what'd you do after that?
Team meeting for the gym. So I'm an owner of a gym, and we had my business partner and our 2 full-time coaches.
And how long did that take?
2 hours.
2 hours. Did that task make you money?
It's 2018 planning, so indirectly, no. It's just something we had to do to say, hey, here's where we're going next year. Here's the game plan.
Okay. So, and did that require your personal touch to, have the meeting, be at the meeting, all that stuff?
Yes.
Oh, I agree. That's one thing that you like, you know what? You got to put the time in there.
Yeah.
So after that, what's next?
I did a Facebook Live video for 30 minutes where I reviewed Facebook custom audiences and kind of, how to identify your target client.
When you stopped broadcasting, did anybody buy stuff from you?
No, but I had 3 people inquire about buying stuff and hire me to coach them and things of that nature.
Perfect. And so that would require your personal touch, and that was something that I would keep on your plate. So this is how you start to decide what you're doing. Give me a layup. Give me something that I can so ideally, here's what we're looking for. We're looking for something that makes us money but doesn't require our personal touch. Give me something.
So today, nothing. This is kind of a weird week for me, but I do have a call I have to make after this where I'll be calling a business owner to close a deal. I'll be talking to him. We presented last week a product to him, and he's 99% done. I just got to call him and basically say, hey, here's where you sign. I'm going to send the invoice to this address. Here's how much it costs, and we'll go from there.
Gotcha. So that task would make you money, and right now where you're at, that task would require your personal touch.
Yep.
However, and so let me get nuance here. So you having the phone call doesn't make money. You having the phone call gets you closer to making the money, but what actually makes the money is when you send over the proposal, you send over the agreement, you send all that stuff. So let's say you jump on the phone, you wave a magic wand, he's ready to go. What happens next? Walk me through that process.
So we have I've got a contract, an agreement. I literally pop in there, I click send, and it sends him the agreement, and it's all automated. It sends him the invoice via credit. Actually, typically on the phone, I get the credit card number. So I'll get the credit card from on the phone. I'll pop that in there, and that'll generate his invoice is paid. His contract is sent to him, his agreement. And then at that point, when he sends that back, it goes into we use Asana. It'll be entered into Asana, and my team takes over and builds what we're doing for him.
Awesome. So that whole process, how long did it take?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. And did that task make you money?
Yep.
Absolutely. This is a task that directly put money into your bank account. Your bank account said bling, bling after you did that. Did that absolutely require your personal touch to do this?
No.
And this is something that is crucial. When you have something that does make you money, but doesn't require your personal touch, the more that you can find it, and they won't all be like that, but the more you can do that, that's going to help you grow your business. That's the sweet spot where you want to grow your business to blow up to that next level. So this is a free worksheet. You can do this every day. I recommend for all of my clients who do this is to run this for a week. I need to know, if you show me where you spend your time, I can know where can we systemize, where can we automate, where can we delegate, where can we outsource, and then what can we do to put in systems, processes, protocols to where you're not doing the stuff. Because right now, for where your business is at, you're telling me, you're screaming to me, I don't have structure. I don't have structure. I'm a producer, I'm a performer, but I don't have structure. If I take a vacation and throw my phone in my trunk for 72 hours, for an hour, this whole thing could blow up. That's the potential that we have here. So I know I'm being a little dramatic, but realistically, dude, I could take off 3 months. I'd come back well rested, better tan, and more money in my bank account. Straight up. That's the power of having a system and structure, and more importantly, having the right people in place. So I know you're out in Cincinnati, right? You're out in Cincinnati, Ohio. So, and you mentioned you're working with a Jim and a Sam, and I don't know. I heard American names. So you're working with Americans, local Americans, right?
Yep, local part-timers that have worked for me and done tasks in the past.
Right. So because you know me, you know where I'm headed with this. So
yep.
I don't hire Americans. I work with people in Latin America, Eastern Europe, and Asia. Why? First and foremost, everybody watches Game of Thrones, everybody watches The Walking Dead, and everybody watches that in English, because English is the #1 spoken language in America, or in the world. English is the #1 spoken language in the world. People understand English all over the world. There's internet, there's Wi-Fi, there's computers, there's all the programs that you're using, there's Facebook. Everything you're using right now is available to everybody in the entire world. And so if somebody in America, by the way, the American minimum wage is going to $15 per hour. That's where things are headed. The average hourly rate in most countries all over the world is about $1 to $3. So if you're paying somebody $15 an hour, you could have one person doing an amazing, phenomenal, blah, 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 American quality job for 1 hour for $15, or you could have 5 people who are hungry, motivating, hardworking from all parts of the world having 5 hours. So would you rather have 1 hour or 5 hours? I know I would rather have the 5 hours. And because my systems, because my structure, because my SOP, and because my commitment to investing my training and my time into my people are strong, I know those 5 people are going to outperform that one American. And good help is hard to find. Americans are lazy. If you're in another room right now and you go to your office, I can almost guarantee you, girlfriend, mama, Netflix, Twitter, YouTube, appointments, all this stuff that Americans have a lot of needs.
Yeah.
So in order to combat that, what I do in my businesses, I need to know where my people are spending their time. Where are they? So I'm going to share my screen and show you this. I use a screenshot monitor, and every 2 minutes, I can actually see what my people are doing, what they're working on, what websites they're using, what apps they're using. And check this right here. This is one of my teams right here. By the way, look at this. This is for a 7-person team. Cost me less than $2,000 for full-time work so far this month. Less than $2,000. That's one person's salary in America.
Yeah.
So let me show you this. Check that. This is right now. You're gonna love this in this moment. And to prove to you right now in this moment, look, 18 seconds ago, 1 minute ago, 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago. Right now, in this moment, I am sending out leads or emails to my team. And this is how I can prove it. So look at this: 305, 308, 311, 313, 315, 318, 321, 324, 326, 328, 331. Look at that. Every day I could go back for months, weeks, days, years, and I know exactly what people are doing. And on top of this, check this out. I know what apps they're using. I know what websites they're using. If I see Netflix, Hulu, all the other stuff that Americans are looking up, they're out of here. And they sign that in the agreement because I'm very transparent. I'm very upfront. I tell them, like, look, I am working for my dream and I'm headed this way. This is extremely important to me. I've dedicated my life to this. If you want to do this, this, and this, do whatever the fuck you want to do, but do it on your own time. Because when you're working with me, you're helping me grow to my business. I'm going to pay you this, and I'm going to give you consistent work, and I'll give you all the work you can handle. But if you are not down with this mission, I can't have you on the squad. And they have to sign that on the agreement. On top of that, if you're looking at these little green dots right here, check this out. That's activity level 100%. What's this one right here? Activity level 94%.
What does that mean? What is it?
That means that we track their keyboard movement, we track their mouse movement, and if that is less than 80%, they don't get paid. If they are idle, meaning they got to go to the bathroom, they got to go potty, whatever that is, make some food, whatever. If they're idle for 2 minutes, automatically clocked out. So when they come back in, they can automatically clock themselves back in. And here's what it looks like. So this girl is doing email marketing for me right now. So look at all those. Check. All those emails are being sent out right now, man. It's ridiculous. And she's putting them in a spreadsheet. She's notifying everything. She's managing all my leads. She doesn't do anything but send out leads all day long. I know for certain I'm getting 1,000 cold emails going out every single day, Matt. My business is growing whether I'm golfing, whether I'm getting a massage, going on a date, going to the movies, feel sick, hungover, whatever, man. I know that this is happening on my behalf. And it's working for me. So that's a great way to keep track of your people. And I love working with people who are not in the United States because they're okay with that kind of stuff. If you do that to American, they're like, oh, you're invading my privacy, bro, and all this and that. It's like, yo, straight up, I work just like you. You work from 7 to 11 p.m. every single day or most days. Those people in America, they won't commit to that job like that. They won't do that kind of stuff because you're different. And so you can work with everybody else locally and get what everybody else gets, or you can realize the world's a big place. We're in a unique time right now where communications is unregulated. The staffing and payroll is unregulated. It's my prediction that there's going to be a global currency. Cough, cough, Bitcoin. Cough, cough, all the other stuff that's popping up out of nowhere. And we're going to have global benefits, global minimum wage, global healthcare, global currencies. That's not going to exist for a few decades. But right now, if you've ever read the book, The Outliers, have you read the book, The Outliers?
No, I haven't.
It's by Malcolm Gladwell. You got to read that book. Super quick synopsis. Walter P. Chase. You know this name, right? Do you know that name? And the reason you know this guy's name is because in the 1800s, the mid 1800s, there was an outlier. There was a period of time where big business had banks. Consumers had their mattress. And Walter P. Chase said, what if I made a bank for consumers? Nothing existed like that before. So if he'd done this 20 years before, people didn't have enough money in their mattress. If he did 20 years later, there was consumer banks all over the place. But because he was the first one to do it right at the right time, you know his name now. Everybody knows his name. His name's on my wallet right now. And so we're in an outlier situation right now where 20 years before, we didn't have enough internet bandwidth to make this happen. 20 years later, there's going to be global currency, all kinds of taxes and regulations and this and this that's going to make it a little bit messy. But right now, it's the wild, wild west. And so you feel free to hire Jim, Bob, Joe, Sue, and Peggy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to hire Rodrigo, Ramon, and Abdul. And I'm going to pay them accordingly. So that's just my personal philosophy. And if you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, I travel the world 90% of the year. I charge thousands and I pay in pennies. And the people who I pay in pennies, they don't feel the way that you just felt whenever I say pay in pennies. They're like, oh my God, I'm getting American pennies. This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean our economies are so different. I mean, I've talked to friends of mine who have moved to other countries, and they're like, Matt, it cost me 10 grand a month to live in LA to have a car and a house and eat and have an okay life. It cost me $2,500 to live down here to do that. And the people that I hire to do different things, they're not $2 an hour is double what their mom made. Whereas every country is different. I think there's a stigmatism in the United States, and I don't have this personally. I've got a couple people I work with in India and the Philippines. I've hired for projects. I'm getting more inclined to use them for more stuff because I'm understanding it. My biggest problem is I don't have the SOPs built yet. I've got them halfway done, but I'm working on building that out so I can say, hey, here's what my emails need to look like. Like when I saw you going through that, I almost started crying because that it excites me, but it depresses me because I know the opportunity. But there's a big stigmatism in the United States that businesses, people think hire American. I love employing Americans. I love employing anybody. You know what? I don't have a problem with employing somebody in the Philippines. They've got a family to feed. They've got a life to live. There's nothing wrong with employing people around the world. And at the same time, by me employing a couple people like you are in the Philippines and help getting work like that done, that I can pay somebody here in America to do a higher level job and employ somebody at a higher level.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up because I work with people to manage my people. So I have Americans and I have people in different parts of the world, second world or developing nations that have a lot higher critical thinking than other places where it's typically poor. They're not, they just don't get it as like we do. They don't have that vibe. But, I'll have my people that I'll hire at part-time, project-based, an hour here, an hour there to manage these initiatives. So I don't got to deal with it. And I'll pay them $20 to $100 an hour. So I'm because I know my time is worth several thousand per hour. My time is actually worth $7,000 an hour. And I know that because I don't do the $2, $5, $10, $20, $50, or $100, or even $500 hour jobs at my business. I only do the big level deals. When I need to flex the muscles and get them guns out and say, boom, let's get some deals in, baby. I pull them out. And that's why my time is worth that. So yeah, if you're telling me that you don't have the systems or structure, like you said, or like I said earlier, either you do it or you bring your boy on to make it happen for you, and we'll get it done right away. There's no, I got to set aside time to do this. So that's where you got to make a decision. Do I want to invest my time here, or do I just want to get it done? It's just like mowing your lawn. I know my lawn needs to be mowed. Do I do it, or do I pay the kid next door $20 to do it? Either way, it's got to get done.
By the way, I'm 41, and I have never mowed the grass as an adult. And I've always had a lawn. So cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll be talking soon. I got your information the other day on the program, and that's on my radar as something to happen ASAP. So sum it up, I guess, a closing statement. What do you tell people? What would be your number one takeaway from talking to people that are business owners, that are Matt Plapps of the world, that are Frank Salases? What would be your big takeaway? What they need to do right now?
If you want to be a business owner and not a self-employed person who has a job, you must outsource. So I'm going to leave you with the great teaching of Robert Kiyosaki. You know Robert Kiyosaki, right?
Yep. The 4-hour work week?
So that's actually Tim Ferriss.
Oh, never mind. Okay. Kiyosaki's the profit one.
Yeah. So he did Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You ever heard of that book?
Yep. He's got another one, something profits.
He's got a lot of books. And so with one of my favorite books is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But my second fault to that is the cash flow quadrant. And so this is not it. This is more of a, let me find the real one. Here it is. Right here. This is perfect. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
So here's employee. If you have a job, you have a JOB. You have no leverage. You have 5% wealth. And the amount of active work determines your income. So you have some employee tendencies right now. This is mostly you, though. Your time equals money. You own a job. So you don't have a job. You own a job. You have no leverage. And this is 95% of the population, by the way. And the amount of active work determines your income. So you're in this area.
Yep.
If you work with somebody like me, you're going to switch from here and you're going to move over to this side. And you're going to own a system. Right now, you're creating your system. And because you've never done it, you're having, it's a longer time frame. It's a higher skill set. You got to set aside the time to do it. And you're building that system out. You have leverage, and you have 95% of the wealth is from business owners. And your income does not depend on your active work. People work with you, and you get money. So let's say we wave match one. You're like, Frank, I want the whole system. I want the VA. I want the blah, blah, blah. I want the SOPs. I say, cool. I'm going to charge you thousands. I'm going to pay pennies. I'm going to have systems and processes in place to manage you and manage that whole thing. You and I are going to have some conversations, so I make sure you like the service, and I'm genuinely interested in your business, and we have a great relationship. I want to deepen that. I want to ask for referrals, all that kind of stuff. But I'm not doing the work. I'm not writing your SOPs. I'm not hiring your people. I'm not communicating with you about your day-to-day stuff. I'm just saying, yo, Matt, these guys are pretty good, huh? Yeah, man, you did a good job. Dude, you want to go for sushi? All right, let's go to sushi. And now I'm hitting you up for referrals. And then this, being on this side right here, you own a system. You own investments. A business is an investment. You didn't go into business to have a job. You came to business to have a system and to have investments. If you're going into business to be your own boss, why not get something that's, doesn't have the stress? You actually have weekends off. There's other ways to be self-employed without the stress of being a business owner. You have all the negatives of this right here and all the negatives of this. You're living the worst of both worlds right now. Not and that's dramatic or whatever, but you're self-employed and you have all the liabilities of a business owner and investor right now. So I would suggest for you as soon as possible to create that system, start to put the people in place long-term. So you're not piecing together, Fiverr and Upwork and Craigslist project freelancers. Have people and say, make a deal with somebody. Make a deal with somebody in Asia and say, yo, I will pay you top 1% income. And by the way, in Asia, if you pay somebody more than $300 a month, they are in the top 5% of the income in entire Asia. If you pay somebody more than $400, that's $100 per week, they are in the top 1% income earners of Asia. And I'm asking you, Matt, go make a deal with somebody over there and say, yo, give me 40 hours of your time every week. I'm going to pay you $400 and help me grow my brand. Help me make more money. Can you do that for me? And you're going to find they're working 40 hours, 50 hours. They're not charging overtime. They're not bitching about this. They're not talking the water cooler about Sarah Palin or Donald Trump. They're just doing their job because they don't want to mess that up, man. They don't want to mess that up. They don't have that opportunity locally. They don't have that. In America, all the people here, we see so much opportunity. We're so entitled and, oh, I should be making $17 an hour. I should be making $20 an hour. They don't want to put the work in for it, man. If you find somebody over there in a developing nation, they don't have this opportunity. They're literally throwing themselves all over trying to get this job. And that's what my parting words are. If you want to go, if you're here and you want to go here, simple. TalentedMrSalas.com. Fill out my form. Go to my boy. Go to Talented Mr. Salas. Follow me everywhere. Send me a message. I'm most engaged on my Facebook, and you can find me there at Talented Mr. Salas. I have a chat bot, which is an automated person you can talk to. His name is Chives. You can go over here and hit send message right now, and my boy Chives will have a conversation with you. And that's Talented Mr. Salas. That's where you guys can find me. I just want to say thanks for having me on, Matt. I really appreciate it. I hope I got your audience to think differently about money, business, time, leverage, globalization, currency, systems, process, automation, all that good stuff.
Oh, you blew my mind. I knew a lot of what you were going to say, and I mean, it's like I just got punched in the stomach. But at the same time, it's a good punch because I know what's out there, and I fall in those quadrants. And I've spent 10 years building something, and I've realized the last 2 that if I get hit by a truck tomorrow, it's gone, and my staff doesn't get supported, and my family doesn't get supported. So I need to get up in that quadrant. But it's kind of funny that you mentioned, because the person I was going to end with, you mentioned Trump. Whether you love him or hate him, the guy left his companies, hundreds of businesses, and he's running the United States of America right now. Whether you like him or hate him, I've not heard a single thing about his hotels going under the ground. I've not heard a single issue out of any of his companies not being run correctly. And I can promise you, we all know we would hear it. So that says a lot right there as a guy that has, I mean, I joked with somebody yesterday. If somebody was saying, hey, Matt, you're the mayor of Cincinnati tomorrow, I couldn't do it. My company would go away. So that's impressive. And I think that it's because of systems and procedures and SOPs and outsourcing and good teams. So I know what's on my agenda. Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, my goal was January 2nd to start the year. And I'm not a New Year's resolution guy, but it happened to be correlate. The timing was right around when I was kind of revamping some stuff. But my whole goal is January 2nd. I'm starting the new year, and I'm starting it with a lot of things in place with the goal of getting by April 1st, everything we talked about in place. So everybody out there, you now know Matt Plapp, and you now know Frank Salas because of Matt Plapp. So Frank, who do you know?
I know Matt Plapp. That's my boy.
There you go. Hey, that's all I've got. We will see you the next episode. Now I can count. The next one is 7. So we'll see you in a week. It's a great guest. His name is Nick Robbins. Frank knows him. The guy's going to drop a lot of fire. We'll see you later.
Later, guys.